Good evening and welcome to Find Out Nation. I'm one of your hosts, Jaime.
I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
And we're here to talk to you about what happens in a nation when they fuck around, they find out. Nicole.
Yes.
It is the first few days of June.
It is.
You and I were just discussing the fact that I just bought an adorable new Pride t-shirt.
Did you?
Yes. That's like free mom hugs and a rainbow. I love it so much.
I love it. Yes.
But it is like not even 70 degrees here.
No, it's 62 degrees right now.
I'm freezing my tits off.
Yes, literally.
So we are both in sweatshirts in the beginning of June. Tell me client change is not imminent. Like tell me this is like you're denying this.
Because it was like fucking 90 on Sunday.
Right. And now it's fucking freezing. Like you guys are absolutely insane.
Yes.
Okay. But tell me where we are. Please give me some good news.
Okay. Well, we're 134 days in.
Okay. So we're 100 and a month in. So that's encouraging.
Yes. 517 to the midterms.
I feel like we're getting real close to like less than 500.
500. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling pretty good. 517. So apologies that we did not record this last night. Nicole knows I had a very rough day yesterday. It was like the Mondayest of all Mondays. So it is Tuesday that we are recording this podcast. But I'm kind of happy because the number is closer than it would have been yesterday.
That's exactly right. Good way to look at it.
Yeah. So I feel better about that.
Yes.
All right. So today, the one big thing that happened today and our big bonus for waiting until Tuesday is that Elon Musk has now exited the building. He no longer has to be beholden to Trump.
That's right.
And today he posts on X. Was it X or True? No, it was X. Obviously, he's going to post on X. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination.
Not disgusting.
Not disgusting. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong.
Shame.
You know it. He went on to say that like this is going to inflate the federal deficit and it's just the worst. I'm like,
are we just disillusioned, Elon?
Indeed.
So disillusioned.
Did you see the ceremony of him like departing the Oval Office yesterday? Was it yesterday?
I did not. I saw something of him in the Oval Office and like his black eye.
You heard, and he got the black eye from his 5-year-old, supposedly.
Well, isn't there a rumor online that maybe Stephen Miller's wife is leaving him for Elon Musk?
Is there really?
His wife might be. I mean, I don't want to start a rumor that maybe Stephen Miller, the head Nazi, clocked Elon. Face.
Yes.
But I mean, maybe.
So I have to say, if Stephen Miller actually punched Elon Musk, my respect for Stephen Miller will go to sub-0 to at least maybe 0 at that point.
Yes. If he was able to hit someone hard enough to cause a black
without breaking his hand,
I would be shocked.
Stunned.
The boy looks soft. The boy looks soft.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, but with this said, first of all, there's been the reports about the ecstasy, the ketamine.
Yeah, like the guy was just like hiring a kite the whole time he was at the White House.
100%. And then if you see him at this meeting, so I think it was Jimmy Kimmel was showing him and was like, does this look like a person that's not on drugs? And he kept looking up and closing his eyes and like.
Was he like glitching? Like sometimes I've gone back and like watched videos and he looks like he twitches a lot.
So it's not the twitching. It's literally like, oh my God. I don't know if I can stay here.
Like these mushrooms are just really doing it for me right now. There's a lot of things with tracers behind them.
And so Trump gave him a key to the White House.
Is that a thing?
It's not a thing. Trump created a thing and then he put on the side of the thing key to the White House. No. Because Trump's so subtle.
Sharpie?
Yeah.
Like with a Sharpie, did he like write it in there?
They probably photoshopped it on like the guy with the
like Killer Alfredo Garcia's knuckles.
Exactly right. So Elon Musk, do we think he actually despises the bill? Or do we think knowing what this has done to his reputation has caused him so much reputational issues that he's trying to distance himself from Trump?
Okay, I didn't think of that. I think that's totally a possibility, but I did think about when you were telling us last week about the new like fees that are associated with electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Like this shit is hitting him where he doesn't like it, and
Well,
that's why he's now pissed off, right?
so that's actually a really good point, is that you're right. The bill took out all the provisions for people that are doing that, used to get discounts for buying
Yeah.
clean energy vehicles, and instead is actually suggesting tacking on additional fees. So you're
Yeah.
100% correct that it definitely is hitting
It,
Elon directly in the
yes.
pocketbook.
I did
But
see
the other thing that I
something.
was thinking, I was like, if I was really trying to distance myself from
Yeah.
someone, that's the first thing I would do, is come out and
Yeah.
like
And
bag on all their shit.
right. Well, and I did
Mm-hmm.
see something where MTG, good old MTG, had to come out and say, "Oh, I didn't actually read all of it like a
Yeah.
damn dumbass." But then
Yep.
also, so like, what do you do now, Republicans? Your poster child, your gazillionaire that's funding all your fucking elections, your reelection campaigns and everything, has now come out and called bullshit on the big beautiful bill.
Yep.
And what now? Because if he
So,
decides to put his money elsewhere,
yep.
what now?
So to that point, the majority leader came out and said, "Hey, thanks, Elon, for your opinion, but we have a difference of opinion," and left it at
Johnson
that.
did?
Uh-huh. No, it wasn't Mike
Oh,
Johnson. It
oh.
was, I think, hang on.
I was going to say, that's pretty ballsy of Johnson.
It
Like, he's
wasn't.
also
It was,
soft. I can't
yeah,
see him
it
being
was,
that gutsy.
uh, da, 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 da. The Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, was the one that said it.
Johnson.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
He was the one that came out and was like, yeah, thanks, difference of opinion, whatever, and was pretty like chill about it. But to your point, if Bernie Sanders is running as an independent,
Yeah.
or Bernie Sanders and AOC is running as an independent, it's very clear that, like, at the end of the day, Elon does not at least seem to have some type of social agenda.
Right.
It literally all comes down to like specific spending and foreign and economic policy.
Yeah.
So if Bernie and AOC come through and are like, "Hey, we can't be bought," but he's like, "Well, I support this." Like,
Yeah.
you never know. It could absolutely change the way that the next election goes.
I also find this interesting because I read yesterday, I think, or maybe over the weekend, that Musk's pick to run NASA, they pulled him from he was supposed to be going through his Senate confirmation hearings or something this week, and the Trump regime pulled him and gave no reason for it.
Really?
So now I'm like, oh, like, are we just like, this is where now Musk is just going to be like, fuck you and your big beautiful bill? Like now I'm just going to scorched earth everything because I'm not getting my way.
Well, and like, besides that,
because you forgot who your daddy was, Trump.
Well, speaking of daddies, like Donald Trump has been like hitting on the Federalist Society, and specifically its co-founder, Leonard Leo, who is like a key advisor to Trump and was the one that like helped him create his list of Supreme Court judges and regular judges. And Trump came out and called Leo a sleazebag.
What?
And blamed the Federalist Society for the bad advice they gave me on numerous judicial nominations. So to your point, like, it will be interesting to see how, like the dipshit Ozark Republicans are always going to love Donald Trump. That's never going to change.
Always, yeah.
But the Republicans that Trump needs to keep at this point are the ones that are like in office. Like, he's been talking about how Amy Coney Barrett is pissing him off, and like, so
I didn't know that.
For him to be throwing some of his biggest supporters, especially biggest financial supporters, under the bus.
Yeah.
Right. Like, are you sure you should be doing that, Mr. Trump? But let's be honest.
Especially if you want to get rid of the Constitution and you want to be president forever.
That's right. But he has never, not ever, ever, ever been able to maintain relationships with the people that he supposedly is working with. So it doesn't really surprise me.
Right. Because, as soon as he's not getting what he wants, or they're not giving fealty to him, he loses his shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see what ends up happening with this.
Wow.
I am enjoying Elon Musk like dogging the big beautiful bill.
Tell
I'm
me again what he called it real quick.
a
Disgusting.
massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination.
Disgusting abomination.
Yep.
Girl.
Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong.
Shame.
Shame.
Yes.
Okay. So, speaking of like Trump getting his way.
Yeah.
I think I was watching Jon Stewart, and he was talking about how like there is nothing Trump likes more than throwing his power around. And that has never been as evident as the recent round of pardons that Trump has been giving.
Oh, those fucking pardons.
I guess someone asked, I can't remember if it was Trump or Elon, if he would pardon Diddy.
Did he? Yes, he sure did.
Okay, tell me about that.
So he was asked if he would pardon Diddy. Hold on, I have so much on this. Let me scan. Let me just Control F Diddy. Okay. Okay. So this came at a point where Ed Martin, which is Trump's personal attorney, had twatted out "No MAGA left behind" after the pardons. He wants to. So anyway, he said he would consider a full pardon for Diddy, but has not yet been asked. So for me, once I have gone through all these pardons, I'm like, there's a couple of running themes here.
Okay.
For me.
Tell me, because I know I've heard the Chrisleys all over everything.
Yeah, the Chrisleys are all over everything.
Okay,
because,
but
right,
I didn't hear of anyone else. So
okay, and I don't have them all because there was a few. I just tried to pick out the big ones that made a thing for me. But right, like the Chrisleys got pardoned because he's got the hots for Savannah, and she spoke at the RNC, and they were on reality TV, and yada yada yada. And full disclosure, I watched their show and I thought they were hilarious. But like, I went through, I got on the Department of Justice's website for their sentencing documents. Like, it was a 3-week trial, jury of their peers. Like, he was sentenced to 12 years. Julie was sentenced to 7. And then
I didn't realize they were sentenced for that long. Holy shit.
Yes, followed by 3 years of supervised release after that. And then their manager, their financial manager, whoever he is, was sentenced to 3 years in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Okay.
Because what were they arrested for?
So they were found guilty of defrauding Atlanta area banks of more than $30 million by submitting false documentations for loans in order to supplement their lifestyle.
Good Lord.
Yes. So they defrauded the financial institutions and the federal government through tax evasion and other fraudulent means in an effort to minimize their tax liability but project an image of wealth.
Well, I mean, at this point, there's no one working at the IRS to find people that are evading taxes anyway. So all that's gone.
So this says that, it's their former business partner is who the other guy is. And they have blamed him. Like, that's been their stance this whole time. No, it was all him. It wasn't us. We didn't know. Like,
that's the Republican way.
Yes.
We blame other people.
And
just
now,
like Trump blaming the Federalist Society for his right.
Yeah.
We blame other people.
After they spent all the money, because they spent the money on luxury cars, designer clothes, real estate, travel, blah, blah, blah. After spending all the money, Todd Chrisley filed for bankruptcy and walked away from more than $20 million of the fraudulently obtained loans. So, they didn't pay taxes from 2013 through 2016. So for 4 tax years, they didn't file any taxes. They had like false companies, like all the things. So they were the big ones. They were the big ones. But of course now they won't even have to pay restitution. Like it's all that's done. They don't have to pay restitution. Their sentences are commuted. It's as if it never happened. This is
I did not realize they wouldn't even have to pay. But could there be a civil case then against them to force them to pay restitution at this point?
I don't know if the banks could do that or not because it was part of a bigger federal case. I don't know.
Okay.
So, Okay, so Paul, and I'm gonna butcher his name, Walzak maybe, was
Okay.
sentenced to 18 months in prison and 2 years supervised release in order to pay 4.3 in restitution for failing to pay employment taxes and willfully failing to file individual income tax returns. So he owned a connected network of healthcare companies in Florida. He was withholding Social Security, Medicare, all the things that you have to, federal income taxes from his employees' paychecks, and then spending the money on himself.
Shocking.
Bought himself a yacht,
Oh,
did all these things. Yeah, made big purchases at Bergdorf's and Christie's and Saks and all and
like
Cartier, all the
who
things,
does that?
and thinks they're going to get away
Who
with it. This
and
is the
think
thing.
they're just going
You
to get
guys,
like
yes,
what do you think's going to happen? That you're going to win the
yes,
lottery at some point and be
right,
able to
and be able to
pay
pay it
for this
back.
stuff? You know what I
So,
mean?
yeah, in total, he evaded more than 10.9 million in federal payroll taxes. He
Okay.
had just been sentenced 2 weeks before he received his full pardon because his mother spent $1 million at a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser for Trump
Of course.
and was petitioning him. Sheriff Scott Jenkins had been sentenced to 10 years in federal prison for accepting over $75K in bribes in exchange for appointing numerous Northern Virginia businessmen as auxiliary deputy sheriffs within his own department. He was convicted of 1 count of conspiracy, 4 counts of honest services fraud, which is like wire fraud, 7 counts of bribery, blah, 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 blah. So Trump said Sheriff Scott Jenkins and his wife, Patricia, and their family have been dragged through hell. They're victims of an overzealous Biden Department of Justice. So anyway, Trump called him a wonderful person who was persecuted by radical left monsters and left for dead. So he got a full pardon.
Of course.
So there's 2 more that really struck out for me. One, I'm going to read you about her first. So Pamela Hempel was a former Trump supporter from Idaho.
And he felt bad because she had the last name of Hempel.
Maybe she should have. He should have. She actually rejected her pardon.
I saw this on yes, on the news. Actually, now that you say that, I'm like, oh, I saw that.
She's the only one of all the pardons that he's given because she was a January 6er. Yes. Yeah. So she was one of over 1,500 people that was given clemency. She is the only one publicly trying to return it, saying the pardons support a false narrative. She pled guilty to a misdemeanor and now denounces Trump's claims and says law enforcement treated her fairly.
Wow.
But here's the big one for me. And I'm going to talk about this, and then I want everybody to just remember Kilmer Abrego Garcia. Trump commuted the life sentence of Larry Hoover, who was the founder of the criminal gang known as the Gangster Disciples, who has been in prison since the late 80s for drug trafficking, money laundering, and assisting in murders across 110 cities in 31 different states. So here is an actual fucking drug dealer
and gang member and murderer
that he just commuted the life sentence of. But we're deporting a bunch of brown men on trumped up charges of being rapists and murderers and drug dealers without due process and no proof.
Why did Trump say that he pardoned him?
I don't know. I didn't read that. Hold on.
Because his mom gave $1 million at a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser.
Probably. The decision was made after Hoover had previously requested early release under the First Step Act. While details are still emerging, his lawyers have stated that the commutation vindicates their efforts to have his sentence reduced, citing his considerable growth and complete rehabilitation.
Oh, he's probably a big Trumper now.
Probably. So it just fucking kills me. And then they announced today, the Justice Department announced today, they're going to review all the presidential pardons granted by Biden to focus on whether the pardons were improperly issued or involved political favoritism. Hello, see Exhibit A of Chrisley's, Sheriff Jenkins, all these other fucking people.
No shit. I mean, we all know it's a regime. That's the whole point of this, is that it's a regime.
And clearly, with enough money, you can buy your way out of anything, or the right amount of ass sucking will get you out of anything. And that's the running theme for me, is I'm like, it's like he doesn't view defrauding the federal government as a real crime. Because, right, how many times has he fucking done it? How many times has he bankrupted companies and sucked them dry? He doesn't see it as a real crime.
Right.
He doesn't.
No, for him, it's a indication that you're smart enough to be able to defraud the federal government.
The fucking system. That's exactly right. And, the whole potential, like, we might pardon Diddy when his trial is still ongoing, like, because crimes against women, again, not real crimes.
Mm-mm. Well, of course, those aren't real crimes. Let's be honest.
Right.
Um, yeah, this is to me when Trumpers talk about draining the swamp and Trump
Uh-huh.
talks about like this is the worst of the worst, and I just feel like there is no way that it's absolutely inexplicable to me how any Trumper could explain this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course, these people deserve to
Oh,
no longer be
yeah.
right. The
Savannah
Chrisleys deserve
Savannah Chrisley
to
was
have
on.
just stolen $20 million
Yes.
from all of us. Because really, at the end of the day, like keep in mind
It's
that
taxpayer dollars.
defrauding the federal government is stealing from your tax money,
That's
but
right.
even defrauding companies
Yes.
means that they are raising prices for
That's
us as
right.
consumers.
That's
So
right.
people that commit fraud are stealing from you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're just too stupid to like understand that.
Yeah. I mean, Savannah Chrisley was on Entertainment Tonight talking about the new show they've already got a contract for.
Yep.
And how, when she was standing outside the prison waiting on her dad, like people were just handing her babies and she felt like Princess Diana, like people were just handing her. And I'm like, you're so fucking fake. And she was like, I'll stand with Trump forever because now this has opened my eyes to all of the inconsistencies in the the federal prison system, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's fucking mind blowing.
It really is. It's truly and completely mind blowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about somebody else who has recently violated the law, or at least possibly have.
Okay.
Our friend Kristi Noem.
Oh, okay.
Our Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, who recently did not know the definition of habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus.
Right.
Yes.
So she probably doesn't realize that she did something wrong here.
Oh.
But so it sounds like she was working to stop some collective bargaining at the Transportation Security Administration. So it sounds like she was intending to stop transportation security officers from engaging in collective bargaining along with a local union and two aviation-related unions. The American Federation of Government Employees filed a federal lawsuit in Washington state saying that, yeah, she's pretty much like stopping collective bargaining, which, as most of you know, is like not allowed. So granted, this was in 2024, but through the lawsuit, it has recently been determined that it's likely, the judge found that Kristi Noem violated due process on TSA collective bargaining. U.S. District Judge Marcia Penchman in Seattle granted a preliminary injunction against the Noem determination and its rescission of a 2024 bargaining agreement. The court here finds that an injunction must issue to preserve the rights and benefits that the 2024 CBA collective bargaining agreement confers to the Transportation Secretary officers pending resolution of this litigation. So,
okay, so remind me, because I'm not as well versed in some of the union stuff like you are. So collective bargaining, is that when they are actively like in negotiations for like their health benefits with the employer and like that kind of, and like the pay, the salaries and all that, like to try to prevent them from going on strike, right? Like that's when they're collectively bargaining, is like renewing the contracts for things, right? Is that what that is?
That's exactly right. Okay. Yes. So what happens is my husband's part of a union. They have contracts that last for so long. And then at the end of those time frames, getting to the end of those time frames, they'll start meeting the leaders of the union plus the management of his company, sit down and they have conversations around what the next bargaining agreement's going to be.
Okay.
And that they use that so that like, okay, this is what we want. This is what the company wants. And then they'll negotiate for several weeks, months, sometimes years until they finally come up with whatever that solution is going to be. So Penchman found that Noem's actions violated the Constitution and federal law. She also said that the move appeared to be retaliation against the union for challenging other presidential Donald Trump workforce policies. So I guess the bargaining agreement was signed in May 2024, and it was supposed to run through 30/31. It provided a bunch of things like how to grieve issues and making sure you have representations or whatever. On February 27th, Noem ended the agreement. So she basically said, this contract that you guys came up with, I'm killing it. because it's solely benefited the American Federation of Government Employees at the TSO's expense. You can't do that.
Right.
Like you're not allowed.
They put an agreement.
That's right. You have no right to just say, yeah, that contract that you guys all agreed to and you've been like operating in. I'm gonna kill that.
Okay, so could they strike?
So they didn't strike. They that's when they sued her. So they basically sued her and said, listen, like it could turn into a strike if they wanted to, but like she didn't give any other information on why she was just ending that agreement.
Well, it's because she woke up and just decided, I'm done with this.
That's right. Because at the end of the day, we all know that
every day's a new day.
That's right. We all know that Trump and Republicans hate unions.
Yes.
Whatever they tell you, whatever they told you, the most pro-union president we've ever had, for all of his fucking faults, is Joe Biden. Like, Joe Biden had a lot of faults. You and I have talked a lot about how much we don't love Joe Biden and a lot of the things that he's done. But if there's one motherfucking thing he did, was he was pro-union. And I will tell you, in this household, unionizing has been the one thing that has ensured the benefits of my husband, my family for so long.
Yeah.
And so to have like at the time, like to have her just say, we're just going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is absolutely fucking crazy. So,
oh my God.
We'll see if Kristi Noem is going to end up, in jail for violating the Constitution.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, she didn't know habeas corpus, so maybe she didn't know how collective bargaining works. Maybe she doesn't know that there's like a shit ton of laws.
She doesn't have Google.
She doesn't have the Googles.
She's got Signal, but no Google.
Right, that is telling her.
No staff.
Yes.
Do you think at this point her staff's just like, watch this?
Okay.
Watch this fucking clown. Like,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are they just letting them run fucking straight into the goddamn wall?
Can we talk about, like, Trump came out this week and was like, Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and is a robot and clones.
I barely saw some stuff on this, but I'm like, and is this like something he's made up? Is this a fringe right-wing thing that he's like now taking the mantle of? Like, what is happening? I don't understand it.
So he retweeted it. So
yes,
he retweeted it and then he like doubled down on it later, I think is what he said.
Kind of like the Knuckles.
Yeah, sure. but like, I'm sorry, if Papa is posting about, like, if Papa was like, Trump is a robot.
Yes.
We'd all like put him in a home, right?
Yeah, we'd be like, we need to have you evaluated. And let's be real clear. If Biden was a clone, they would not have had him walk into the fucking jungle on live goddamn TV.
So that's the thing, is if he was an actual clone or robot,
had a better
he would have done better.
Yeah, he'd have had a better debate performance. He'd be sitting in the White House.
Yeah, I think so too.
White House.
Yes. So
doesn't Trump know how good AI is?
Yes. So I'm like, what's like it? Do we need to talk about like putting Trump in a home at this point?
Where's the 26th? Like, isn't it the 26th Amendment or something that the Republicans were all screaming about for Biden? Why are the Democrats not? So here's another exhibit A of another instance where we could start screaming about invoking the 26th Amendment or whatever the fuck it is to get him out of there. He's cognitively not well.
Right. He's in cognitive decline for sure. And so Republicans, come get your papa. He's ready for his home.
Yes.
He's ready for his home.
For his Jell-O, his soft foods only diet.
Yes. Yes. Like, seriously.
His raging, at the wall about, all the immigrants. Yes.
Okay. And speaking of like Trump.
Yeah.
How much are we delighted on the recent taco memes?
Whoever that reporter is, that bitch better be on the cover of Time magazine. She better be woman of the fucking year.
Okay.
They better be like, can we build a statue?
So my favorite.
That woman deserves the best that this world has to offer her.
So for anyone who has been living under a rock for a week or does not like follow my social media, which shocking.
Yeah. Like, well, how dare you, first of all?
Taco is the new, it stands for Trump always chickens out.
Yes.
And you'll see like
the
memes of taco trucks with Trump in a chicken outfit. And it's very much directed towards like Trump makes these bold statements and then has to back way off of them when
I just love that it started with Wall Street.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. Okay, my favorite right now is there is an actual restaurant that is called Trump Burger in Texas. Have you heard this?
I saw a picture of it, but yeah, I wasn't sure if it was AI generated or if it was real, if I'm being honest. Because it looks so fucking insane that I didn't think it was actually real.
So it really does, I guess, exist. And it, I guess, has been getting lots and lots of phone calls.
Oh, God.
About does it carry a chicken taco on the menu?
Shut up.
I know.
I did see a meme of Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary.
Yeah.
As Taco Bell, like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She's got like a giant dress made of nothing but tacos. It was fucking great.
Yes.
It was so great.
So they're saying that this could be as popular as like the Let's Go Brandon.
Oh.
I am ready to like buy all the stickers for my car.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I love the taco.
I love that she had to explain it to him because he had no idea what it was. And then he said to her, don't ever say what you said. Like he was so pissed, which I just love, right? Because there's nothing that a bully and a small man hates more than being openly mocked to his fucking face. Which is why I wholeheartedly believe in this world, that's exactly what you should do all the time.
Yeah. Yes. 1,000%.
Yeah.
So they say that it was actually coined by Financial Times columnist Robert Armstrong, who described how some investors have anticipated rebounds in the stock market from Trump's on-again, off-again tariff policies, which we just heard a new one where I think they are getting ready to put in tariffs on the 4th. So maybe tomorrow or the day after of 50% on steel? Is that what I heard?
Oh, God. Are we back on that again?
Yes, we're back on that, and I feel like that's coming back out this week. And my guess is that that's probably coming out this week after the rise of the taco moniker.
And now he's not gonna back down now.
That's exactly right. Well, I got to show that I'm not going to back down. Exactly correct.
I got to let you know how big my dick is.
Oh, yeah. No shit. That is exactly correct. So yeah, I really am loving the taco.
Oh God, it's so great.
It really is so great. Okay, but back to the business. Back to business.
Yes.
Okay. Some other like smaller things that I want to talk about before we get into my big item, which is the Maha report. Hegsa today ordered the name of one of their Navy ships that is named Harvey Milk after the gay rights activist.
Yeah.
He is ordering that the name be changed and be scrubbed from that Navy ship. Even though
he's got nothing else to worry about.
I know, especially because Harvey Milk was a sailor during the Korean War.
Yeah.
And then was shot and killed as he was like
running. He was campaigning,
fighting for gay rights. Yeah. So to your point, really, like we really have to get rid of even if they have some sort of military service, fuck them. Just because they were gay rights activists, we have to get rid of them.
And this is what I love. These are the same people that were fucking outraged over the Confederate soldiers' statues being taken down because of the hateful ideology that they represent.
That's right.
That's history. It is white history, and we need to have it represented all the time. And
that's right.
These are the fuck your feelings people that can't stand a gay man's name being on the side of a naval ship.
That's right. These are the people who will call us snowflakes.
Yes.
And then lose their mind.
Yes.
For a ship that nobody's fucking acknowledged in 50 goddamn years.
No one cares.
Right. No one cares. But we've got to make sure that we change the name.
Exactly.
So that was a fun little thing I read today. Also, back in March, it was decided by DOJ that part of the executive order for like finding inefficiency and reducing fraud was that we were going to centralize a database of all the American citizen data into one central location. Oh. I stupidly, because at my company, when we want to centralize all of our data in one database, we build a data lake and we have all the data sent there. Like there are databases and programs and things like Microsoft Fabric that are designed to do exactly that thing. It's all kept in-house or at least in the cloud, and it's controlled by us. Instead, it was announced recently that the White House is contracted with a company called Palantir, a Colorado-based analytics company who was co-founded by Trump supporter Peter Thiel to assist in compiling a database of personal information on American citizens. So let me tell you that a lot of Trump supporters who don't want their data in one central location for every single department to have access to, plus an outside company and anyone in that outside company to have access to, is not super excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm so shocked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but so the article that I read, even far-right influencers are creeped out by President Donald Trump's reported plan to work with MAGA-friendly tech company Palantir on merging data on Americans from different agencies into a single location. Okay, this screams to me of dictatorship, regimeship. Like, we want to keep an eye on people. We want to be able to follow who they're voting for, what they're doing, what they support,
their health histories, their all their things, their finances.
Their right, because it's IRS data, it's their social security data, it's everything all in one place, right?
How often is their passport being scanned when they travel? Where are they traveling to? What are they doing? Yeah,
indeed. But the one thing that I thought about is that it sure will be easy to find out all of these like January 6th protesters when shit like this happens. You know what I'm like? Don't get me wrong. Like, does he realize that all the stuff that he's doing now will persist? It will live beyond them. Yeah, I get the fact that he probably thinks that he's building a regime that he will never have to hand over the keys to.
Yeah.
Right. And that MAGA lovers will never lose the keys to the kingdom. But his approval ratings are so far in the tank at this point. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And so at this point, does he realize that, like, this will include his data? Yeah. This will include Elon Musk's data. This will include his whole staff's data. Like, this should include everybody's data.
Yeah.
And like all these Proud Boy motherfuckers, all of the Federalist Society motherfuckers. Like, that's right. They will all be in this database with the activities that they are siding with. Like, you realize that everything that's you're creating now is going to persist. So
will live there forever.
Right. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
So
and it's a good thing that the federal government never gets hacked. So like we don't have to worry about any of that.
No fucking shit. Like, and to your point, it's not even inside the federal government. It's in a business outside of the federal government. So like,
Russia, if you're listening, like
right. That's exactly fucking right. Like, how easy is it for this Colorado-based analytics company that nobody's ever fucking heard of? We're not talking about like AWS, like Amazon Web Service. Right. We're not talking about Microsoft. We're not talking about we're talking about this company called Palantir, which I keep wanting to mispronounce them as plantain because it's real close to that. Like, nobody's ever fucking heard of them. And are we really serious that this is where we're going to put all of our data? But I digress.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to call that out. I wanted to call out the information around Trump Chicken South. You had an interesting, smaller article about the new Qatar jet.
Oh, the jet. I do just have a little blurb on it. Yes.
Okay. Tell me about this.
So they want to request that the U.S. clarify the terms surrounding the transfer of the Boeing 747. So specifically, they want official documentation stating that the Trump regime initiated the deal.
Stop.
And that Qatar will not be held responsible for any future transfers of the aircraft's ownership. They have not finalized the agreement for this at all, even though Trump's come out and said, no, we already have the jet. It's ours. Everything's been finalized. Qatar came out and said, hold up, that's not true. And we want all of this before we agree to the transfer of the jet.
So first of all, is that shocking at all? That
no, I think
what Trump says and what
is not the truth.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then number two, is this because we think they are realizing how bad it looks to transfer it to the Trump library
afterwards?
And so they're like, no, you guys figure out what that transfer is going to look like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And like,
because that doesn't surprise me that Trump would say, oh, make sure you put this as a provision of the agreement of us getting this plane.
yeah,
And then like them being like,
no.
no, I don't
Well,
want to.
and I think it's interesting that they want the document to state that the Trump regime initiated it. Like
Oh,
that for me, which I find completely believable, 1,000%
oh,
believable.
we
But
know
because
that's true.
Trump has been saying the entire time, no, they offered me this jet. They just
Right.
offered me this jet for no reason.
Yes.
Now Qatar's coming back and being like, pump the brakes, because
Right.
when they go in and scrub this jet and they realize that we did bug the living shit out of it so that we could overhear all of your conversations and everything that you do in this jet, we want to be on record that you guys requested it.
Yeah.
And we just did that so that we knew that you weren't speaking badly about, about us.
Oh, yes. Well,
Yeah.
I love this. I honestly love this journey for them.
I know, right?
Funny enough, we generally keep this podcast around what happens when we fuck around and find out. But now it kind of feels like Cutter is understanding what it feels like to fuck around and find out. So I'm enjoying this. We've also talked about Elon fucking around and finding out.
So true.
And we've been talking about, the Federalist Society fucking around and finding out
today. Yes.
So we really are like examining all of this. But the one thing that I want to talk about, and I really like, so as an old lady, those of you who are not old people don't understand this, but when you get to be a certain age, you start watching doctors on the YouTubes and the TikToks.
Not the
That's
YouTubes.
Right. On the YouTubes and the TikToks, you watch the doctors, and especially Dr. Mike. For those of you who know Dr. Mike, he is Mike, something that starts with a V. It's like, I don't know, but he's really adorable, and he wears these glasses, and he watches.
I follow him on Instagram. Yes.
I love him. Yes. He's so wonderful.
Yes.
And then on the TikToks, I watch Dr. Knock. Is it Dr. Knock? I can't remember what it is. Anyway, doesn't matter. All the TikTok docs, who, by the way, in the past have been remarkably, well, I should say Dr. Mike especially has been remarkably like non-political. Oh. His opinions are very much around like, what do I recommend as a doctor? Like he did have a whole episode on vaccines, but it was a very like respectful. We sat down, we talked to anti-vaxxers, we addressed our issues, we talked through what the actual science says, blah, 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 blah. So I love Dr. Mike. He's the best. Last week, RFK and the Health and Human Services released the MAHA report, making our children healthy again.
Oh God.
Okay.
Have they discovered the cure or the reason for autism?
No.
I know it's early. They said September, but I just thought maybe we were ahead of the game here.
Okay. Yes. Let me tell you that just about every citation, every piece of science, everything cited in this MAHA report was like wrong or misstated, misquoted, misrepresented. Like it was really, really bad.
How do you think people aren't going to figure that out?
Well, that's the thing is that like when you look at this MAHA report, there are things in it that like, I mean, there are some studies that they talk about that didn't even exist. According to the authors that they said wrote the stories. Yes.
Girl, they're just making shit up out of whole cloth.
It was so bad.
Shit.
And so they said that one psychologist who is cited in the report said that all the references that they finally put in the correct references to but everything that they said was a total misrepresentation of what
my God
the research like it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad that the two doctors that I watch plus like have come out and said he needs to be removed. Like he needs to be removed to the point where like Dr. Mike put out this statement. He's like, here is a letter that you can use to send to your representatives. Dear Representative Name, I'm writing to urge you to join me, Dr. Mike, and other concerned Americans in calling for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to resign from his position as Secretary of Health and Human Services. His repeated spread of misinformation and demonstrated misunderstanding of basic scientific principles undermine the integrity of the office and endanger public trust in our health institutions. The Department of Health and Human Services requires leadership grounded in evidence-based science and public responsibility. Secretary Kennedy's conduct and rhetoric make it clear he is not fit to serve in this critical role. Please act swiftly. So not only is these are doctors that have like millions and millions of followers, and they are like begging people to get him because the report was bad. It was so bad that Trump's press secretary had to address it.
Oh, God. What did she say?
She said that the miscited information was due to formatting errors.
Formatting?
Yeah, girl. So then Maha re-releases the report with the formatting errors and adds more misinformation.
Oh, my God.
Like, they make it worse.
You know that once you have a formatting error, I mean, it's like a bug in the system. Girl, it just spreads like fucking chlamydia. It's everywhere now. Like, you can't stop it. It's just everywhere. Those formatting issues just really be causing havoc in the system.
Right. And what's really bad is like a lot of the things that they talk about was not they talked about processed foods and how bad processed foods are for kids.
Red dye. Like, some of the shit that we've talked about, we can get behind.
And there are plenty of good science-based articles that talk about how bad processed foods are. Yeah. But then he calls out like rising rates of obesity the numbers are just wrong. At one point he got on and did this wasn't in the Maha report. Right. This wasn't in the report, but like he gave a press conference at one point where he said,
"Oh God, what?
That one in 3 children have diabetes." Where it's the actual number is 1 in 300. And
what's a couple zeros, girl? It's fine.
He said 50% of Japanese people are diabetic or pre-diabetic. And it's 50. More like 12%, which is in line with what other nations are managing. At one point, he talks about that Americans are taking 75% of prescribed medication, when in actuality, they're like, no, Americans, it could be believed that Americans pay 75% of all prescription costs, but it's because we get the access to the first medications because they're usually created in the United States. We're the ones that are like, and Trump's already talked about us subsidized. Like, that's the kind of misinformation. Like, either the numbers and statistics that he is espouting are just 100% wrong, or he's taking something and misconstruing it so wrong that it's like causing these reports to sound absolutely fucking insane.
Well, yeah, because he's got an agenda.
Yes.
But also, he has a brain-eating amoeba. So when half your fucking brain is gone, you miss a couple zeros on things, and it really has a detrimental effect in the formatting errors of your reports.
I know. So they talked about like Roundup and like pesticides, which again, there is plenty of studies out there that talk about pesticides
against that shit.
That's right. Yes. But the idea of like, okay, we're going to make stuff up to make sure that like
overinflate it and make it even. I mean, this is just like Jenny McCarthy and her vaccines cause autism bullshit that has been debunked multiple times.
So one of the things that they talked about was like they really went after soybean oil. And so the American Soybean Association was very critical in saying that like the report inaccurately said soybean oils contribute to negative health outcomes. And they're like, soybean oil is a heart healthy oil that we are trying to convince them to use instead of vegetable oil and shit that's just not
like avocado oil is a heart healthy oil. Like
that's right. But what but the way that the Maha report talks about it is like, well, soybean oil is bad, and so you
start using Crisco again. Like,
right. And so to that point, like, it very much encourages people to do stupid fucking shit.
Wow.
So now I will tell you, like, there are plenty of, like, so he pissed off big business because companies like, Nestle, Kraft, they're all pissed at him for inaccurately portraying a lot of their products. The farm lobby is pissed because a lot of like a lot of like our just regular farmers are pissed because a lot of what the information that they've given has been so wrong. Like, everyone's pissed about this.
Yeah, it's not going well.
Right, that the impartial medical doctors are like, he has to be removed before he does more damage.
How soon do you think this is going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen, right? Like,
you don't think that there's enough, that there could be enough pressure put on Trump, to remove him?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we're at a point where it's like, Trump, the fact that they released the report, there's all these inaccuracies, and then they release an updated report
again,
and it's worse.
Yes.
How are you justifying keeping him in office? I think it's going to get to the point where RFK is like behind closed doors. Trump's going to be like, you got to resign.
You got to resign. Yeah.
But the fact that Pete Hegseth still has a job after Signalgate, once Trump's all in on you, it feels like he's all.
Until you do something to him personally, you can fuck over the American people all day long. He doesn't give a shit.
That's right.
But if you do something to him personally, like what Elon is doing now, that's when you see the true side of him. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that I really wanted to talk about tonight, because I just really feel like it's gotten to almost a critical point. And, with the measles outbreak, we saw some of the impact of the cuts to HHS. Yeah. We're going to see more impacts as time goes on. Yeah. Like, we are poised to get hit. Like, if we got another COVID.
Yeah, another pandemic.
It would be absolutely detrimental to the nation.
We thought it was bad the first time under Trump.
Right. We thought it was bad the first time around. You're fucking crazy. Yeah. I will tell you that, like, we talked about COVID and the COVID vaccine in our last podcast. Yeah. I had a number of people, both young and old, reach out to me and be like, just so you know, COVID's still really a thing. Like, people are still fucking dying from this shit. So definitely something that
they're not reporting on it. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, those were all the things that I had on my list, and I think we hit on most of the things on your list, but was there anything else that we hadn't had a chance to talk about?
No, one thing I'm going to push forward to next week, because it's not a huge, like, it's kind of upsetting, but like, we don't need to talk. I don't want to end on it today. I do want to talk really quickly, because it is June, because we are in the thick of hurricane season.
Oh,
I would like to talk really quickly about how more than a dozen of the National Weather Service's offices along the Gulf Coast and in Puerto Rico are currently understaffed. Key locations such as Miami, Jacksonville, Houston, and San Juan are missing at least a third of their needed meteorologists, and the National Hurricane Center itself is short 5 specialists. So that's fun.
Considering we had 2 tornadoes in Kansas City today. Indicates that, like, with the changes in climate, like, we started this podcast talking about climate. We might as well end this podcast talking about climate. Like, the fact that you and it is June fucking 3rd, and we are in sweatshirts freezing our tits off.
Yeah. It's now 59 degrees. We've been podcasting for less than an hour.
For less than 53 minutes, and we are down to under 60 degrees is absolutely fucking insane. So great time to, like, start losing people that are specialists in the weather service. Like, who needs
fabulous.
Them? Who needs them?
Exactly.
Okay. Please tell me you have a happy ending. Also,
I do. Okay,
wait,
yes.
Can I tell you that multiple people also reached out to me this past week that shed a tear for our story last week.
Iris?
Yes. So I'm really hoping that this one is going to be okay. I'm not going to cry
again. I will never again give us a happy ending that causes tears. Oh my God!
Maybe tears of joy. Tears of joy. Yes. But I will say that the next day, my husband's like, we have to go eat at Texas Roadhouse just to show how much we support.
Right? Yes.
Texas Roadhouse. So to your point, like nobody tell me that they're like huge Trump loving company. I don't want to know.
Right.
I just want to believe that this is right.
Yes.
I want to live in a bubble that this is the world's best company, and we will start eating there on a more regular basis.
We openly embrace all of the bullshit. We need at least one thing that we can believe in that maybe we just don't know everything about.
That's right. That's right. 100% yes. Okay. So what is this week's?
So our story today comes from England. Does not come from the U.S.
Yeah.
A pair of identical twins.
Oh, I like it so far.
Have just celebrated their 100th birthday together.
Stop!
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Their names are Bill, who is the oldest twin by 10 minutes, and his brother Jack. So Bill, for whatever reason, the article mostly quotes Bill. I don't know why, but maybe.
Well, he's the talkative of the two.
He might be. Yeah. Jack's like, whatever, let this guy do it.
He's the extrovert.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So, Jim's the other one. Bill. Jack.
Yeah.
Jack's the introvert. You would think I would remember the name Jack, considering. But anyway.
True. Yes.
Yeah. Jack is the introvert. Bill's the extrovert.
Yes. So, Bill took up painting in his later life in retirement. Okay. He credits 20 minutes of exercise daily. For living to 100. Okay. So he said,
I really like the articles where it's like she credits her daily shot of
pepper,
her bourbon and and bacon every day for why she lived to be 100.
Yeah, like I would really do that.
Yes. Okay.
So he said, I always intended to reach 100, and now here it is. And so nice. They're originally both from the south of London. Yeah. They both joined the army in 1945 as members of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. They spent 15 months in Malaysia, where Bill confessed they got up to lots of tricks. Bill and Jack be doing some shit over there in Malaysia.
They be doing some shit. Did they bring back any ladies?
They did not, but Bill met his future wife Joan in Wales in 1951. They married and had one son. He was a government worker and retired in 1984.
Good Lord.
Yeah. But that's all it is. Like, I got nothing on Jack, so I don't know. I have no idea if Jack got married, if Jack has anything. I have no idea. But there's a cute little picture of them on the Good News Network in inflatable crowns.
Oh, well, I will try and post that with this video. So if you're watching in the video, you can see the picture of them.
So adorable.
If not, I'm sorry. Go look them up and you will find the 100-year-old twins. That is a very nice story. I like that.
Yes.
Yes, that is. So do you think you'll live to be 100?
Girl, I hope Riley and I've had this conversation before because I'm like, I don't ever want to die because I can't imagine leaving her. Do you know what I mean? So, but then at the same time, I'm like, oh God, but I can't imagine being so old that like someone's having to take care of me. Like the idea of that is so unappealing. But like,
but it sounds like Bill and Jack are thriving.
They really are. I mean, and they're so freaking cute. One's got a little sweater vest on. One's got his little green tie on. Like they're so freaking cute. Like I don't know. What about you?
Early 80s. I'm an early 80s lady.
You want to go in your early 80s.
For me, this is where I'm like, you know what? I drink enough. I eat enough McDonald's. I'll be lucky if I make it to my early 80s. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Everybody on both sides of my family, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, all lived to between 92 and 95.
So mine too. Almost all my family lived well into their 90s. We'll see what happens.
That's true.
Well, that did take a little dark of a turn, but at the end of the day, it's a lovely story, and I can't wait to find the picture to put up on our video.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching. We hope that you got something out of today's podcast. Please like and subscribe, interact with this channel, all of those things that you're supposed to say at the end of the YouTubes. And if you don't want to watch us on video, totally understand. We are on all the podcasts. So anywhere that you consume your podcast, you can hear our fuck around and find out voices.
Exactly right.
We hope you had a lovely week.
Yes.
And
have some tacos.
Have some tacos. Yes. Go have some chicken tacos. That's exactly right.
Happy Pride Month.
And happy Pride Month. Yes,
that's right.
Good call. Bye.
Bye.